Hello, beautiful friends, all of YouTube world. My name is Alejandra Valenzuela. Thank you so much for coming to watch this video. This is Wildflowers Within on YouTube. This is a very irregular episode because I am not home. It is January 1st of 2026 and I'm recording this video about the new moon in Cancer. Truth be told, I was prepared. I made a video yesterday and then last night I was in a spiritual work with my church and all of these insights came to the point where I was like, I need to redo this video. So excuse the backdrop. I'm at a friend's house making do with everything that's here. And I'm just very grateful that you're coming to watch this. My heart is so infused with excitement about this new moon. And this channel really is a devotional space. You know, I don't just want to report on the astrology. I want you to feel it in your heart. I want you to understand it. And I want to understand it as an astrologer. Like, how can I sit with it and interpret it? And what's beautiful is in my church, we drink plant medicine. And it's just the best, you know, if you're like sitting in deep contemplation about divinatory oracular language, it's such a great space to learn. So I'm very grateful to the medicine for what it showed me last night. I'm grateful to my own heart for wanting to redo this video in all its imperfection. And I'm racing against light. Like, it's just all the things right now. So please bear with me because I do have some notes on the video that I wanted to make, but I'm going to riff and add new things into this one. And if you're a woman who wants to just work more with lunar energy, I invite you to come breathe with me on every new moon and full moon for 2026. Reboot your system, reset your garden, and learn about lunar wisdom from a place that relates to your own personal astrology, and do it in community. So the link is below. It's called the Lunar Alchemy Circle. All right, so let us begin. Okay, so first of all, I just have to say this. A Cancer full moon is the mooniest of all moons. What do I mean by that? I mean, think about it. The entire rhythm is dedicated to the essence and the vibration of our Madre La Luna. And when she is in her own domicile of Cancer, and when she is at maximum capacity, I mean, okay, let's save some, like, a little bit of space for like eclipses, right? It's like extra. But eclipses aside, a Cancer full moon is her in all her most wild expression. It is probably one of the most unpredictable. There are going to be planets that sort of set the tone. But one thing that came in my spiritual work is if full moons create this amazing tension between the axis of the two opposite zodiac signs. So in this case, we have a full moon in Cancer and we have Capricorn where the sun placement is holding that tension. I was sitting there thinking, oh my God, of course, it's going to be the mastery of Saturn that is the only one to rightly put those balances and those boundaries in check for the greatest force of lunar power we could possibly see. Like, it was just so appropriate that in this tug of war, no other planet but the archetypal opposite. If the moon is our body and our fertility, our emotional state, the ebb and flow that's constantly changing in our life, in our world, the fortune, right? She also represents fortune. Then you're going to put the archetype of, and with every cycle, no matter what was created, there is always an end. There is always death. There is always the hard look of reality, and a question of like, what's it all about? So Saturn as this archetype can like hold the moon in all her glory in a full moon in Cancer. Like, I was literally blown away as, you know, I'm just like dancing, singing, doing my thing. And then like, you know, these images come or these insights come. And it's just, I just love it. I love it. So, all right. So let me go to some of my notes because I do want to talk about the Capricorn, the Cancer. Sorry, I went to bed at 4 a.m, you guys. I might have trouble finding my words. All right. The Cancer Capricorn access. All right. I always think if you've got like the womb of the cosmos versus the mountaintop of worldly desires, right? So it's like the birthing of the inner child, and it's like presence and initiation into the world. And Capricorn represents that finality, right? It also represents death. You have to remember that in this season of light from a northern hemisphere perspective, we are at a time where the darkness is the most, right? It's the most that we have. And so from that standpoint, we are in a season of death, of decay, of the old completely withering away to be composted, and our ascent to come up. So themes of that can come up at this time are emotional truth that can rise. Cancer can show what Capricorn suppresses. The kid can show what the parent forgets that they had initially. So these are like emotional truths that can rise at this time, feelings that you've outgrown, or like a demand to be acknowledged, stuff like that. The inner child can speak at this time, and it could speak to needs, your own needs, or if you're looking and you see it manifesting outside, a child speaking their needs around care, around protection, and around belonging. This can start to come to the surface. Grief and longing can come up at this time. Stuff for, feeling safe in your body, in your environment. Grief and longing for a home, whether you have one and you're not happy with it, or you miss what you have, like a version of love that once existed in the past. And also mother wounds. So, or if you don't want to look at it as a mother wound, you can look at it as a nourishment wound. How was love given or withheld early in life? So these are kind of like, as the tension is being shown between the two, this is what can come up at this time. And I had a quote in here that I wrote because it just like came to me. What I love about Cancer, is it always reminds us of that inner child. And the quote that I thought of, I was like typing this out. It's one from Jesus that says, "Let the little children come to me, and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these." So there's this purity and an essence of remembering our own inner light, that we are birthed ultimately from the womb of the cosmos, and our soul is coming in to experience something. And Capricorn is kind of the journey of, as we leave the mother, as we leave home, as we leave the father, the family environment, we go off to be on our own path, right? To handle life's ups and downs, to learn how to emotionally regulate our own system without the coddling or codependency of our mother and father, right? So Capricorn is that, and that's why it's ruled by Saturn. It's more stern, right? It could be austere. It'd be like, toughen up. And Cancer's like, oh, the mother's like, but he needs another candy. Just let him cry a little bit, And both are needed. Both are needed. And so Cancer Capricorn is holding this mastery. Oh, dear God. It is such a beautiful, beautiful full moon. And so these are the themes that are present. All right. Now let's talk about some of the aspects. I was really tripping out last night. I mean, I had some of this in my notes from before, but then it was like to see it. Oh, dear God. All right. So Venus is co-present. It's conjunct the sun, but she's combust, meaning that her essence of who she is being blown out to smithereens, being purified by solar energy. And she is now going to be, as soon as she hits a cazimi, where she sits at the heart of the sun and Venus will be at the exact same degrees. It's, in ancient astrology, that is the reset button. That is a new cycle birthing at this time. And it's so appropriate that things like this are taking place, because we're coming off of a brand new year where this is already in our field. It's already like, what are we leaving behind for 2025? What are we stepping into in 2026? And even we're having our first big lunation that happens to be ruled by the moon herself. And at this time, both Venus and Mars, co-present with the sun in Capricorn, are getting ready for massive resets in their system. So Venus is purifying desire, purifying what desire means to her. So all things that are archetypes coming up right now with these frequencies, values are coming unto examination. What is it that you say you value? And what is it that you're actually building your life with? Do the two align right now? Or are your values changing so that you can shift the infrastructure that you need to create a more purified journey to your magnetic north? Okay? Love can also be tested by truth at this time. Saturn just loves to be like stone cold about it. And relationships are coming up big time. If the planet Venus is combust, you can't even see her right now in the sky. It's like, where'd she go? It's because she's resetting. And so relationships at this time could be resetting themselves. Your desire body, literally your body could be resetting yourselves. And in Capricorn, there's a lot of like, if you think the responsibility, the maturity, then what comes with that, I think of like the royal family, right? In an infrastructure and an institution that has lasted, kind of the test of time, if we think about it. I mean, there's definitely crumbling and empires falling, but rising again. But if you think about it, those relationships, you think of the word duty, you think of image, right? You think of longevity. And this Venus resetting herself in the temple of Capricorn at the time of this full moon, it's almost like, are her emotions in alignment with staying true to these roles and responsibilities? Where is it, do you feel like I'm playing a part because that's what you do? It's just what you do, right? There's like this, like you can't break free. Like you're not allowed any freedom to say, okay, maybe I don't need to do this. Like it was very upsetting when, Meghan and Harry left the royal family. And I don't know where anyone stands on this, but like to pull yourself out of what feels like inertia because the role is just so critical, right? You have to represent something. You have to be emblematic of something, right? That could be this like major Capricorn thing that we're like a stereotype where Venus going combust and resetting, she's taking into question, is this all true now for me? How do I want to align myself in the future? Devotion over desire. Where does love become a vow and no longer a feeling? The collapse of false security, status, titles, contracts, once being able to feel like roles that once felt safe, maybe no longer feel safe anymore. Maybe you're seeing like an empty shell within. So these are some things when I think of like your life force energy, what is beautiful in your world, where does your passion, all of this is getting reset. Now with Mars co-present also on the other side, sitting on the other side of the sun at this time, the interesting thing about Mars in Capricorn is the planet is exalted. It is therefore protected from combustion. Mars is not seen as being blown out of what he is. However, when Mars also resets and sits in the heart of the sun, he will still experience another reset. And so for Mars, this rebirthing has to do with some sort of initiation in where he puts his will, his authority, and what is considered right action. Mars in Capricorn is like the initiate, like when you take like it's kind of like the movie Avatar. It's in my mind because I just saw the most recent one, Fire and Ash. Scully, is it Jim Scully? Whoever the main like character dude, when he goes into the world, I'm even forgetting the planet world right now. I'm sorry, I told you it's off the cuff. He is going through an initiation where the Mars energy of him, the soldier of him, is learning restraint before power. right? There's that one scene I remember where he's like kills all those dogs or whatever, and she was like, "This is not good, this is horrible." But like, the sky people don't understand it. They don't treat sacredness. He's hot-headed. He, doesn't have legs in the real world. And then he comes into the avatar world, and all of a sudden he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, I can walk, I can run." And he ignores the doctors. He takes like plugs like that. That's a hot-headed Mars character. But going into the avatar world, it's like, this is the way. I want to say like Mandalorian, but I'm going to mix way too many things together. This is the way. Okay, but that's literally what it is. This is the way. So Mars learning restraint before power. Something is resetting inside of Mars. And one thing that could also be like an understanding, I really want to play with this issue of like anger. And what's the difference? There are different types of rage that I've learned throughout my spiritual journey. And rage in, I would say, a more common sense is seen as destructive, right? It destroys and it can harm a lot of people. But there's another type of rage that I've found along the way where it feels sacred, where it feels like an appropriate alignment of energy needed, an element of fire needed to purify all that is so dense and constructed that no longer supports me in my field, right? So how can Mars, especially accessing something from Cancer, accessing something from the emotional body, reset itself to learn some sort of mastery of how to use like a mature anger moving forward, instead of reactionary to something more committed in and rooted in a wise understanding, right? Something more principled, an anger that can protect life, not an anger that protects sheer ego, So those are my two things about that. I will say it's very interesting that we're still in the time of the season of light where light is, the most minimal. So we're still in the darkness. And with Capricorn, because it's ruled by Saturn, it's an earth. Remember, this is a feminine earth temple of Saturn. So earth is very fertile. But with Saturn, Capricorn is seen as kind of like the bones, the graveyard, right? We've come down from Scorpio season and we finally hit the depth of darkness. And so Venus and Mars really purifying themselves, we're shedding off and leaving it here in this graveyard to now pursue a higher octane of what to remember in love and will and action. And this is where the full moon comes in to demand, to hold tension for what they're going to reset to. And hopefully everybody resets like in a good way, right? It's a new year. Let's do this. So here's where Jupiter comes in. Jupiter in Cancer is exalted. It's not like closely conjunct the moon, but I will say it's co-present and it's in retrograde. Jupiter could be the benevolent father in the home in the womb of our Divine Mother. It could be the protector that's like from the tribal lineage, an ancestral guardian, okay? And in retrograde, we always have to remember inward and backwards. So towards memory, right? Very Cancerian themes. Memory of the moon is a reflective light. It has no inherent light of its own. So it's a memory of something shining on it. So Jupiter can amplify in retrograde of the past memories, lineage, belief systems inherited rather than chosen. What was passed down to you rather like what, and this could be culturally, what is the belief and the normalcy of our culture? What do we value? What do we hold? What do we say it's good to fight for? It could be from your DNA, from your ancestral laws coming up for review. This is how it's been done for years. Therefore, me in a horrible partnership, you just work it out. Or we have babies because everybody in our family had babies. I mean, it's like you can write whatever law was written at this time. A re-examination of family beliefs around love, around loyalty, around sacrifice, and around safety. all of this can come up. Old promises or vows, unconscious, totally unconscious, that can be resurfacing. It becomes very intergenerational at this time. And so with Jupiter, and I loved this understanding. So Jupiter asks, why do you believe what you believe about those feelings? And as I was thinking on this and sitting with it, the work of Byron Katie came up. It's almost like Jupiter moving back retrograde in this temple of Cancer with the moon co-present, right? It shining a light onto our desire body and our will and how we take action in a temple of Capricorn that is truly ambitious. Jupiter's like, so the 4 questions with, that's 8, 4 questions with Byron Katie. It's called The Work. You can write these down if you feel like you want to do some work around this. The first one is it true? Like, right, Jupiter is looking for truth, right? And remember, in my new moon in Sagittarius, I talked about the dogmatic nature of Sagittarius because of Jupiter, right? There could be like a firm belief, but I know this to be true. I know it to be true. And like years later, you could be like, oh, shit, that's actually not true. But I so believed it at the time. So the work of Byron Katie is really examining it. And an exalted Jupiter in Cancer, is it true? Second question is, can you absolutely know that it's true? Really makes you think. Third question, how do you react? What happens when you believe that thought? And the fourth is, who would you be without that thought? Fame is really present right now, just for me, in my field. I don't know. I feel very vulnerable saying it, but hey, it's, Cancer full moon. Why not just reveal some stuff? Like worldly ambitions, the sea goat, conquering the world. There could be a perversion with Capricorn that, it becomes like, the skyscrapers of the world or the trillionaires of the world. Like, really? Like that could be a pursuit of a certain desire or a certain vision or fame, right? Like wanting to be known for something. And I got to tell you, with Venus and Mars resetting themselves, I'm really sitting with the work I do. I'm especially thinking of the Liberated Survivor ceremony because I have big dreams. I have a deep prayer in my heart to heal the wounds of rape and sexual assault in our world from a totality and the magnitude of what is needed. And, I've done one TEDx talk. I'm writing another talk to do another one. The first one I did was in Spanish. This one's going to be in English. And, if I look into some shadow, there is some, like, what do I want to say? Like, yeah, there is some desire to be known for it. But what's the difference? But like, as I sit with this and I'm like, okay, I'm resetting this stuff. Is it that I want to be known for it, or will my heart feel better just knowing the impact? My heart wants the impact. I want survivors to come to this ceremony and release guilt and shame energetically from their bodies for good. I want the spell and the technology used in sexual assault to be dismantled. It would be nice to be famous for it. But deep down, I just need the impact. The prayer actually that is resetting, it's understanding like the illusionment, the entanglement, the shadow of like wanting the fame about it versus the impact. Dear God, I want to create heaven on earth. We are in a time of prophecy. I want to raise the frequency of humanity. And yes, I am one humble little person, right? But I have a story that is powerful enough, and I do my spiritual work, and I know how to energetically remove guilt and shame and any survivors possible of it. Any. Doesn't matter if it happened 20 years ago. feel like I went on a little rant there. But I just wanted to say, like, as we look into this full moon, so what I wanted to, kind of turn it to and like really, really synthesize it all. The expression that I got and the feeling I got in the work last night, it's like the mother and the father are calling their children home. That is the tension. The tension is the mother and father sitting in Cancer know their children are grown up. They've gone out, they've explored the world, they've pushed limitations, and I mean, my God, we've traveled to outer space. We have maybe for sure billionaires, maybe might be trillionaires soon. I don't know. But now they're saying, as Venus and Mars are going combust in this temple, what are we doing this for? How much is enough? Dear God, children, wake up. Your mother and father are proud of you. Great on all your accomplishments. And now it's time to come home. Come back to reset what is truly a way to live this frequency of the new earth in these prophetic times. So that is more just global, archetypal. Obviously, you want to look at where Cancer and Capricorn sit in your chart. You want to see where that tension and the themes, you want to look at the topics of those themes. But also, if you can't specifically find them there, then just think of it globally, internally. Thinking about love and relationships, your will and desire. Where are you focusing that energy? And what is going to be meaningful? What is it to truly rise to the mountaintop? All of that's coming under fire. Under fire right now. With the mother and father in their most benevolent, powerful positions, a full moon in Cancer and an exalted Jupiter in Cancer, saying, my beautiful children, we have never left. We are always here. Remember us. Remember what this is all about. I feel like I just did a little bit of a sermon. And I hope it made sense. Thank you so much for coming to watch this video. I send you love. I send you blessings for this new year. I send you amazing miracle space of healing, protection, life, open paths, prosperity. I send you the blessings of the mother and the blessings of the father. I send you blessings of your own inner spirit to break open we're coming up on the fire horse year, right? The fire element, the purification for your spirit, and for you to reset your values in love, in ambitions, to a new earth. Set the compass, turn the dial to the new earth, because that is what's waiting for all of us. So, again, if you want to come breathe with me, if you want to have community space, Lunar Alchemy Circle, click the link below. I send you blessings, and I will talk to you soon. Ciao.